Last episode we finished Hogstead, a small village built to support the towns around it, and for the first time this road actually felt like it had somewhere to go, but there was still one problem, because no matter how far the road stretched, it still stopped here. And if I wanted this route to keep growing, that was something I needed to fix. Hello, welcome to Secois Minecraft series episode 16, Between the Roads. You know, I think a lot of this started here, when I built the observatory. It was one of the first times really stopped to look at the world from above. And what surprised me wasn't how much I had built. It was how much I hadn't. There were villages, landmarks, pieces of the world, but there still was so much empty space between them. And the further I expanded, the more I started realizing how those spaces mattered too. And I think that's exactly why this bridge ended up becoming so important. Today, we're building Stonebridge. And honestly, this has been one of those projects that's been sitting on the list for a while. Ever since I built this road, that's been waiting to be connected from the road over there, I knew it eventually needed a proper crossing. But at the time, I wasn't really sure how I wanted it to look, so I left it. And despite everything we built since then, the road has still been ending right here. So I think it's finally time to fix that. And with that, the bridge was finally finished, and so is the area, right? Well, almost. Because there was another problem. Right next to the bridge sat a Minecraft village. And while there wasn't really anything wrong with it, it didn't fit the idea I had planned for this area. The road still needed room to continue, and I wanted to turn this crossing into something a little more interesting. A small travel stop, some stables, a place that felt connected to the road. So before any of that could happen, this village has to get removed. Once the area was cleared, I could finally start laying everything out. The goal wasn't to create another village like Hogstead, no large tavern, no market. Just enough to support the people passing through. A place to rest. A place to prepare for the next stretch of road. I also wanted to add a proper stable, partly because it fits the world, but also because it makes travel feel more believable. Instead of simply jumping from one place to another, there are actually stopping points along the route. And Stonebridge felt like the perfect place for one. So I built everything around the road itself, focusing on the things a traveler might actually need before continuing their journey. With the main build finished, I want to take a moment to walk through it with you, because this area ended up becoming a lot more than just a river crossing. What started as a piece of missing road slowly turned into its place along the route. The hamlet ended up getting this really cozy and welcoming feel to it. It's not a huge place, but it feels like somewhere people actually stop along the road. You might be wondering why there's a gate and tower here. Well, Stonebridge sits right on the southern edge of the Heartlands. So if you think about it realistically, this is probably where the travelers entering the region are checked and taxed before continuing on toward Dragville. Nothing too strict, but enough to justify having a small guard presence here. And I think little details like that help the world feel a bit more believable. Not because they're particularly complicated, but because they give places a reason to exist beyond just looking nice. And honestly, the hamlet itself ended up adding a lot more character than I originally expected. It's a pretty small build, but somehow this became one of my favorite parts of the entire area. There's just something about it that makes the crossing feel alive. The tents, the campfires, the feeling that people have actually passed through here. And I think that's what Stonebridge was missing. Not another major landmark, just a little bit of life. All that was left were the smaller details, so I started adding more signs and markers along the road, not because I need them, I already know where everything is, but the people living in this world wouldn't. And little details like that helps the road feel used, instead of just decorative. And other than the signs, I thought adding some wagons would bring a nice touch of movement and life to this place. As I'm walking down this road, I start to think about something I come to appreciate a lot more while building in this world. The villages and towns will probably always be the main focus. They're the places people remember, the places with stories to tell. But over time, I've started realizing that places between them matter just as much. The roads, the crossings, the little stops along the way. Because they're what makes the world feel connected. When everything starts working together, the world feels a lot bigger than the number of blocks it's built from. And with that, Stonebridge was finally finished. Not a destination, not a major settlement, but an important stop along the road. And from here, the road continues toward Greenhollow and eventually toward Creeky Lake. But those projects are for another day. For now, I'm happy to finally see this crossing completed and one more piece added to the world. And one more step toward connecting everything together. As always, I wish you all the best and see you soon.